We're coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3. Here are the top stories making headlines this evening. Businessman Suleiman Karim is set to take the Madanga Commission to court tomorrow in an urgent bid to halt the probe from subpoenaing him to appear before it on Friday this week. The ad hoc committee has decided that President Cyril Ramaphosa will for now not appear before the committee to address questions regarding the establishment or the disbandment of the Political Hearings Task Team. And it is good news for motorists on Wednesday as the fuel price will drop to a 4-year low. At the back of those headlines, it has just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to Prime News on 3. I am Colette Nell. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Numerous stories we have for you, from the latest developments to sports and weather. We've got you covered. And this leads the bulletin tonight. Businessman Suleiman Karim is set to take the Madanga Commission to court tomorrow in an urgent bid to halt the probe from subpoenaing him to appear before it on Friday this week. In papers filed before the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg, Karim urgently seeks this interdict against the Commission pending Part B of his application, which seeks to review and set aside the decision of the Commission to deem him a witness on the basis that he is an implicated person until the Commission complies with what he describes as principle of natural justice to protect the right afforded to him. Karim was implicated in testimony relating to alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Matlala, where the former is accused of leaking sensitive SAPS information to the latter, and Karim was also accused of using his political influence to assist Matlala. The Madanga Commission will be opposing the application. Meanwhile, a senior forensic analyst in SAPS who authorized the ballistics report in the Ahmad Swart murder case has charged that the inaccuracies were erroneous and are not aimed at sabotaging the case. That's in response to evidence last year from witness B, one of the investigators in the matter, who alleged that the report was manipulated to derail the case that implicates alleged cartel member Katiso KT Molefe.
SABC senior forensic analyst Captain Lawrence Makgotlwe has poured cold water on the claim that he deliberately manipulated the ballistics report into the murder of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart. Makgotlwe testified that the report contained typing errors, but it was not aimed at negatively impacting the case.
I can safely say those were typing errors, and those typing errors were supposed to be picked up at the reviewing process, but was not picked up at the reviewing process.
Be that as it may, the errors were of such a magnitude that they risked the potential success of the investigation, because the positive links were only made after the errors were amended.
The document that you handed as a report of the outcome of the work that you are showing us that you did not give a positive link. That's why there was a need for you to rectify or to amend, as it were. That's a simple proposition, and I think you already...
Yes, I accept that, Commissioner.
Yes.
Makgotlwe's testimony further highlighted the shortcomings of the forensic labs in the country, which are said to be facing demands that outweigh the resources.
So it cannot be incompetence or deliberate. What is the other one?
Negligence.
Negligence. But as I already indicated, Commissioners, that the errors will arise time to time as long as there is still pressure at the lab.
The hearings continue on Tuesday with the partially in-camera testimony of a cop who was seen on CCTV at the home of alleged cartel member Katiso KT Molefe. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Pretoria.
The ad hoc committee, separately investigating the same allegations, has decided that President Cyril Ramaphosa will for now not appear before the committee to address questions regarding the establishment or the disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team. Ramaphosa will instead submit a written response to the committee's questions after ANC MPs suggested that he respond in writing. However, the committee might call him to appear before them if they are not satisfied with his written response. MPs have been in a tit-for-tat battle for most of the day over who their final witnesses should be amid the looming deadline of 20 February.
So the motion was circulated, and then the ANC supported the motion. The MKP does not support the motion, and the DA did not express its view clearly, because Honorable Cameron said they stand by what they said, meaning they would have still agreed to the proposal that has been made, even though they have not said it.
In other news, the EFF's electoral reform proposals have been received with mixed reactions. The party proposes a realignment of national, provincial and local elections to take place on the same day. In addition, the party wants all South Africans above the age of 18 years old to be automatically registered with the IEC. It plans to table their electoral reforms to Parliament before the end of this month.
It's this electoral reform proposal that the EFF plans to table before Parliament by the end of February, as well as harmonizing the general and local elections. The party leader has suggested a rethink on by-elections.
We need to fight this thing of permanent elections in South Africa. Elections are not every 2 years. In South Africa, elections are every Wednesday. Every Wednesday there is a by-election here in South Africa. And the by-election is expensive the same way, if not worse, than normal elections.
Some parties have weighed in. The DA says the proposal is moot, as the constitution requires that voters still be registered.
What's the point? South African citizens being automatically registered into the IEC database for voting purposes when the laws of transparency are not going to be applied.
What we should be doing as political parties is to encourage people to choose to participate in the electoral processes. Just because people are registered does not necessarily relate to people having a lot more propensity to go out and vote. There are many registered voters in South Africa that are not coming out to vote.
Natasha Piri, SABC News, Johannesburg.
When we return, another relief for motorists at the pumps as the fuel prices go down on Wednesday. Details coming up after a short break. Welcome back to this now. Good news for motorists this month. The Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources has announced yet another fuel price cut. Effective from February 4th, motorists will pay 65 cents less for both grades of petrol, between 50 and 57 cents less for diesel and 70 cents less for illuminating paraffin. The department says the price drop is due to the decrease in average international product price despite an increase in crude oil prices, with the stronger rand making it cheaper to import fuel.
The main reason for this adjustment are as follows. The rand appreciated against the US dollar during the period under review and cushioned the fuel prices by 28 and 32 cents a litre. The average international petrol product prices decreased due to availability of inventory. This is despite the fact that the crude oil prices increased on average during the same period. The maximum retail price of LP gas is increasing due to demand in the Northern Hemisphere. They are experiencing extreme cold winter conditions this winter season. The slate levy remained unchanged at 0 cents per litre in the price structure of both petrol and diesel.
Let's look into this now. A transformer explosion in Johannesburg's inner city has left 4 people injured and sparked a renewed concern about the state of aging infrastructure in the CBD. The explosion impacted other buildings in the street, causing slight damage.
Chaos erupted in the early hours of Monday morning when residents in this building were woken up by a loud explosion.
I came here and I found out that there were a lot of traffic cops, the ambulances.
I was woken up by what sounded like an explosion at around 20 to 6 in the morning. It was massive. I felt my room shake a little bit.
3 security guards and a tenant were injured when the building collapsed. 2 of the victims were seriously injured.
The wall collapsed, and around the vicinity there were about 3 people who were around the area who got injured. We are told one was a student, because the building it's actually a student residential area, and of course 3 other security officials who were around the building, which brings the total number of people who were around the building to about 4 people.
The incident has once again brought the spotlight onto growing concerns over the deterioration of Johannesburg's inner city and its aging infrastructure. City of Johannesburg DA mayoral candidate Helen Zille says the disaster could have been prevented.
I've heard that it's not the first time that there's been overheating at this transformer with consequences, but this time the consequences were apparently much worse than the previous time.
Emergency services say transformer explosions, fires and structural collapses are being reported more frequently as calls grow for urgent intervention to prevent further loss of life. Lopang Alamu, SABC News, Johannesburg.
The case against the man who allegedly pulled the trigger killing Warwick Stock, popularly known as the DJ Warras, has been postponed to the 9th of February. This is to allow the state to verify 25-year-old Armindo Jaquim Pakula's address and his status in the country. Pakula faces charges of conspiracy to commit murder and contravening the Immigration Act. He was arrested on Saturday night at the Marathon Informal Settlement in Primrose, east of Johannesburg.
So there was a notable absence from Warwick, DJ Warras Stock's family, as the man believed to have pulled the trigger made his first appearance before the Johannesburg Magistrates Court. So SABC News understands that the total hit was worth 25,000 rand, while the alleged shooter, Armindo Joachim Pakula, allegedly received 7,000 rand. It's also believed he made a confession and this past weekend conducted a pointings out of the crime scene. So while the alleged shooter Pakula was not spotting any dreadlocks in court, like in this picture on the day of the shooting, it's understood police found dreadlocks at the shack where he was arrested. They also found this bag, which the gun was allegedly concealed in, but the gun has not yet been found.
State will request the remand. His co-accused is appearing on the 11th of February, which is next week, for address verification and also legality verification. But at this stage, we have got nothing to verify.
While Pakula will be back in court on February the 9th, his co-accused Victor Majola will be back in court 2 days later after last month being denied bail. Crisaldo Lewis, SABC News at the Johannesburg Magistrates Court.
After the break, former SAFA chief executive believes the country will be able to step in and host a successful 2026 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations tournament. But let's tell you more when we return. Thank you for staying with us. Let's shift our focus to this now. The Department of Correctional Services says it's engaging with the legal representatives of convicted murderer and rapist, the Thabo Bester, as well as attempted murder accused, the Vusimuzi Kat Matlala, regarding their transfers from the Kgosi Mampuru II Correctional Facility in Pretoria to the Ebongweni Super Maximum Correctional Center in Kokstad, KwaZulu-Natal. The department briefed the media in Pretoria on the outcomes of its festive season security operations.
Transfers of Vusimuzi Ket Matlala and Thabo Bester to the Ebongweni Super Maximum Correctional Center, known to hold South Africa's most dangerous offenders, have drawn attention. Matlala, who is attending his attempted murder case in the High Court in Johannesburg, has indicated his discontent with the transfer through his lawyers during his court appearance last week. He intends to challenge the move legally, arguing that the distance makes it difficult to consult with his legal team. The Correctional Services Department says it's engaging with the legal representatives of both men.
We are having engagements with them, including the National Prosecuting Authority. And we will see. But what is important is that as a department, on our side, we will ensure that he is safe and he's able to present himself before the courts, and we will also ensure that his lawyers get ample time to consult with him.
Matlala was found in a possession of a mobile phone during a raid at the Johannesburg Correctional Facility in Pretoria last year. The department maintains that the sudden transfers of both Matlala and Bester were informed by a security and threat analysis. Matlala returns to the High Court in Johannesburg on Friday. Calvin Lula, SABC News, Pretoria.
It is now time for us to take a look at your latest market update as recorded at 7:30 this evening. And for your sports update this evening, former South African Football Association Chief Executive Dennis Mumble believes the country will be able to step in and host a successful 2026 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations tournament. The country will have just over a month to prepare to host the 16-team final tournament if Morocco decides to pull out like it is allegedly threatening to do. Deputy Minister of Sport Peace Mabe stated on Sunday that South Africa is the new host of the tournament, but Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie was forced to release a statement later on saying South Africa merely expressed its willingness to support CAF should alternative hosting arrangements become necessary.
South Africa has successfully hosted major international sporting events before, such as the 1995 Rugby and 2010 FIFA World Cup tournaments. The country continued to demonstrate its capacity to host events of that magnitude and stepped in as host of the 2013 Wafcon tournament after Libya pulled out. South Africa could well step in once again should Morocco pull out following the fallout from the chaotic 2025 men's Wafcon final in Rabat. Deputy Minister of Sport Peace Mabe said on Sunday the country has stepped in to host this year's Wafcon tournament. But McKenzie later released a statement clarifying that no official decision or announcement has been made, not by CAF nor by Morocco. But should CAF entrust South Africa with the responsibility of hosting the tournament, Mumble, the 2010 FIFA World Cup's head of competitions, says they will make a success of the event, even if it is at short notice.
Yes, I think it is possible for us to do so. We have proven in the past that we can step in at the last minute, as we've shown with the 1996 Africa Cup of Nations, and we've done it very successfully.
Mumble says a good ticketing strategy and a world-class commercial and marketing campaign are key to the success of the tournament, while television broadcast rights will also have to be secured quickly. The 2026 Wafcon is scheduled to take place from the 17th of March to the 3rd of April. Pesing Carlos, SABC News, Johannesburg.
All right, on that note, for the latest in temperature changes around the country, let's cross over to the weather desk for the full picture and details. Stay with us.
Thank you very much and a very warm welcome to the weather desk. Time for us to look at those conditions over the country now. Still expecting a rainy night as we move towards Gauteng, stretching all the way into Limpopo, Mpumalanga and KwaZulu-Natal. That is where we see the 60% chance of showers and thunder showers for tonight. Isolated as we move into that interior of the Eastern Cape. It is going to be a clear night as we move towards that interior of the Northern Cape, with the mother city expecting a cloudy night for tonight. For tomorrow, rainy conditions still predicted over Gauteng, stretching into Limpopo, where we see that 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms showers stretching into Mpumalanga. Also expecting some morning fog patches over that escarpment of Mpumalanga stretching into Free State all the way into that interior of the Eastern Cape, which means that visibility will be reduced in the morning. So please, let's be careful, especially those who will be on the road. Still expecting rainy conditions over the Eastern Cape, a 60% chance of showers and thunder showers for tomorrow. Isolated has moved to that interior of the Western Cape. Now looking at warnings for tonight, we're expecting up to level 4 warning of severe thunderstorm over KwaZulu-Natal stretching into the Free State and also Mpumalanga. Moving into Gauteng, the Northwest and also Limpopo, it is just a level 2 for tonight. For tomorrow, that level 2 warning only predicted over Limpopo and parts of Mpumalanga. Do you remember the severe thunderstorms can be accompanied by a large amount of small hail, heavy downpours and also strong damaging winds. Moving towards that interior of the Northern Cape, we're expecting some runaway of air conditions for tomorrow. Temperatures for tonight, it is a cool night over Sunderland with a low of 12, 20 over Musina, and also as we move towards Upington, expecting a low of 22. But for tomorrow, it is a hot day over Upington with a high of 40. Warm conditions over Cape Town with the maximum of 28. Expecting a warm day over Johannesburg with the maximum of 27, 33 over Musina. Durban, expecting a hot day tomorrow with a high of 31. That's all the weather I have for you. Stay tuned.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's meet again next time. Good night for now. God bless. Pula.